With full-time skipper Charit Asalanga out due to illness, the squad will be led by Dasun Shanika. They will be hoping to bag a couple of points to get their campaign off to a winning start.
That is a half century for Vanindu Hasaranga, 50 of 45 balls.
Zimbabwe, on the other hand, come into this match on the back of a 5-wicket defeat to Pakistan. Although they could only post 147, the Chevrons gave a tough fight to the hosts.
Huge appeal and given. That is a big moment.
Get ready. The battle begins now. Well, the battle certainly begins now as we head into the second T20 International, and it's the KFC Vigotel presents Sri Lanka taking on Zimbabwe. But this is what the schedule looks like. Pakistan versus Zimbabwe was the first game of this tri-series. Pakistan won it by 5 wickets. It's Sri Lanka playing Zimbabwe today, and then more games to follow in Pindi. Quick recap of how things went between Zimbabwe and Pakistan. Zimbabwe put on 147 for 8 in their 20 overs. Bennett was really impressive at the top, making 49. But Mohammad Nawaz was the pick of the bowlers because he was able to get those breakthroughs in the middle. And in response, Fakhar Zaman led things for Pakistan, making 44. He was played at a different number, number 5, and Pakistan managed to win it by 5 wickets. Well, we're back on pitch side. We're talking about the second T20 of this tri-series. It's Sri Lanka taking on Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe lost their first game in this campaign. Sri Lanka haven't played since that Asia Cup, so lots to look forward to and talk about this game and really build it up. I've got with me Russell Anand and Pami Mbangwa. Russ, Sri Lanka starting off their campaign in this tri-series. We've seen them in the one-day internationals. A different challenge altogether. Saw bits of them in the Asia Cup. Wonderful innings by Nasanka, scoring that 100 as well. So what can we look forward to in this one?
Well, they need to be more competitive. That's what we're looking forward to seeing, and these players really blending and settling down in their roles, because it's not too long to go. That's what everyone's building up to and getting their plans in order for. So hopefully they play more consistent cricket. That's what I would like to see.
Perhaps better results expected from Zimbabwe as well. They've not had the best of times in the T20s. We saw they lost against Afghanistan as well. But that previous T20 international, some positives coming out of that, some individual brilliance that we saw from them.
Yeah, I don't think I'll go with brilliance, actually. I think there's some signs there that there can be things they can build on. A good start in terms of their batting needed to have been built on them. The middle order are experienced players who need to ensure that they're kind of building better rather than looking to try and continue the onslaught of a power play, but rather setting a base so that at the back end of the game, they can then kind of finish with the crescendo that gets them to what is a decent score. It's the structure of everything and the execution that needs to be so much better from them.
All right, captain's hat then. Dasun Shanika will be seen in action. Win the toss and do what?
They would like to chase. I think chasing here is the way to go. It'll start getting cooler, and with the dew coming in, if you can control the opposition, which you should be able to, ball should grip a bit early, just as we saw in the previous game. So I think you're in a better position if you can chase.
All right, chasing is what we've seen in Rawalpindi. You look at the record here in Rawalpindi. Teams that are fielding first definitely have the better of the opposition just because of the dew and other factors that we're talking about. And of course, the pitch report is going to be crucial as well in determining how that goes. We are ready with the toss now because we've got Ramiz Raja out there with the 2 captains. And after that, we'll have a look at the pitch. That's going to be with Bazid Khan.
Lovely to be here for the toss. We've got the men who are very important. Zimbabwe captain is here. The Sri Lankan captain is here. Rion King is the match referee. Dasun, you have the coin. You're the home captain. Sikandar to call.
Heads, please.
Heads is a call. Tails it is. Dasun, what have you decided to do?
Bowling first, sir.
Any particular reason?
Since it's a use pitch, plus, you know, at the end there are some dew. So certainly the dew factor is a reason for this.
All right, okay, some new faces in the dugout. That must provide you a bit of freshness.
Absolutely. See, there are players who have played here in Pakistan. So most importantly, who got the experience is much needed to play in these tracks. So hopefully they come out with the goods.
What is needed to beat Zimbabwe today then?
To restrict them, obviously to take the Sikandar's wicket.
Yeah, it's been really good. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Well, Sikandar, you heard from the captain, they need to get you out ASAP. You've been a one-man army for Zimbabwe. You started off really well. The openers did a fabulous job, and then the middle order caved in. What was the reason?
Yeah, I thought we didn't assess the wicket when the spinner starts to come on. I thought the wicket was slightly on the slower side, and there was slow turn as well. And I thought we just wanted to go with the same momentum as in the power play. Unfortunately, T20 doesn't work like that. I thought there was a bit of dirty work needed to be done. Unfortunately, we didn't do that, and that's why we ended up losing 4 wickets, quick succession, and didn't score many runs. And then we were on the back foot. We did have a decent recovery, but I thought it wasn't enough.
Yeah, looked frustrated when you're batting with the tail. Any chance of you promoting yourself up the order at number 3 today?
The thing is, there is a role for everyone given. I like to give those guys the role that they have prepared for. There was a time I was going to walk out at 3, but unfortunately we lost the wicket at the wrong time. So we have those flexibility. I was going to walk out at 4, but then we thought the left-arm spinner has just bowled 1. He's got 3 more overs to go, so we thought we'll go with the right and left combination as well. So yeah, we are very flexible, but listen, everybody has their roles to play. I could fail at 3, I could fail at 5 as well. So we try not to think too much of that, and we try and put on, all the trust that we have within ourselves and the batting order we have and the players we have chosen.
How many runs do you think you need to win this?
Certainly looks like a better wicket. I think it looks a bit more Pindi-like wicket rather than the last one we played on. So I've got a very good feeling this could be a very high-scoring game. But when we bat first, we try and score as many runs as possible and see what happens. I don't like to put a number on it, but all I would say, this looks a bit more Pindi-like. So those who know the history would know.
Yeah, high scoring. Well, last question, any team changes?
No, we're going with the same side.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
So Zimbabwe will bat first. Sri Lanka won the toss and decided to bowl. Right now, to the pitch report, and I've got Bazit here with me. Bazit, according to Zimbabwean captain, this looks a much better place to be with the bat today.
So half of the pitch report's already done because he is absolutely spot on. The previous pitch we thought it would grip, and we saw a lot of slow ones from the fast bowlers especially. This looks more typical Rawalpindi, where the ball should skip onto the bat. You've got cracks, but they're wide cracks, not small cracks which indicate that the ball will slow up. I think the ball will skip on, the ball will come onto the bat, and if there's a little bit of dew, then it becomes a real mission for the bowlers to keep the runs down. Now, you're looking at number, aren't you, Ramiz? But I think 170 minimum, and you also have to make sure that you get 20 over par, because if the dew sets in, then it is very difficult to defend any sort of score. So you need 170 minimum. Anything above that, then you're in the game.
So why would Sri Lanka want to bowl first?
Exactly. They want to be sure that once they chase, there's more dew and the ball skips on better. It is a difficult ground to defend because once you get boundaries flowing and with the bounce in the pitch, the runs really flow. So that's the problem that we've seen in Rawalpindi, especially in the PSL. And this looks more like an HBL PSL pitch where the ball should really come onto the bat.
All right, okay, thank you, Bazit. So you heard it from the pitch master. It appears to be a fantastic batting strip.
Well, Sri Lanka winning the toss, and they have decided to field first. No surprises there. Pommy, Zimbabwe up first. They've gone with an unchanged side.
Yeah, and I suppose what you would say is it's an opportunity to make corrections from the previous game. And they get to bat first again. What they would like is another good start from Bennett and Marumani. They were very good together. First Bennett going, then Marumani coming into his own. They expect a whole lot more from Taylor, Burl and Raza. There is a case for Raza facing more balls, being the best player in the side. Young Munyonga, hopefully he goes better, as is the case also for Musekiwa. Can they contribute if they do get a go here? But it's about structure, as I said, to give those bowlers something to work with later. And if they strike early, they can put the cat amongst the pigeons.
And Sri Lanka will be wanting to strike early, and they've got a debutant now in the form of Ishan Malinga.
Yeah, Ishan Malinga, he played in the third ODI. He's played 7 ODIs prior to this. There are 3 fast bowlers, Nuwan Tushara, Loam Seema, along with Dushmanta Chamira Hasaranga and Teekshana, the 2 spinners in that lineup. So I like the look of this. Dasun Shanaka is captain. Asalanka's gone back because he's indisposed and not recovered yet. But the big inclusion for me is Bhanuka Rajapaksa in at 4. We always thought he was a special player, still not lived to potential. Hopefully, he takes this opportunity once again. Nisanka and Kusal Mendis at the top have been very, very good for Sri Lanka.
Absolutely. It should be interesting then how many runs are put on the board by Zimbabwe, because that's the area where they struggled in that last game as well. We'll take a short break on pitch side and we'll have a closer look at the teams and talk more about this game. So don't go anywhere. Well, we're back on pitch side and Sri Lanka has won the toss and they have elected to field first. Now, one guy who's been quite central and integral to that batting lineup is Kusal Perera. He played that wonderful knock in the finals of the PSL as well. Time to hear from him what he has to say with regards to this game.
Thank you for your time, Kusal. You have fond memories of Pakistan. Happy to be back?
Yes, of course. I've been there a couple of times, especially the PSL. So in that time, the weather was so good. So at the moment, it's a bit colder. So we can't blame for that, but we have to adjust.
Okay. You've been nursing your shoulder injury for a while. Have you fully recovered from it? And was that the reason why you were not keeping wickets?
Of course, I had a surgery in my right shoulder. So it's... I have to play with the pain, so it's 100% recovered, but I have to do the rehabilitation every day. So, it's keep managing, so that's how it goes.
And how about wicket keeping? Was it the reason?
So sometimes I'm keeping wickets. Kusal Mendis was keeping wickets now. So if the team needs me to keep, so I'll happy to do that.
What is your approach as a batter towards this T20 format?
So especially, when I'm batting number 3, so I have to take some calculated risks in the earlier, especially when I'm in the power play. So if not, so I have to bat through the situation. So, sometimes I have to get the partnership with my other partner. So, sometimes I have to be aggressive. Sometimes, change my gear and I have to go with the plans.
Thank you very much for your time. Go well.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, he's definitely somebody who, once he starts, he can really sort of take the game away from the opposition. Russ, thoughts on Kusal Perera? I mean, he's got that ability. You look at the strike rate, you look at that striking ability. We talk about that modern day, T20 format and the requirements of that. How does he fit in that particular scenario?
I think he's a match winner. He has that ability, as you did mention, and he's very instinctive. So I would take the approach of setting him free. Just go out there and bat, forget about team goals, forget about run rates, see the ball, hit the ball type of approach and use the others to do the dirty work. That's how you get the best out of him for me, because we've seen him in Test cricket as well. Pommy would remember in South Africa, 150, scored almost all those runs with the tail to win a Test match, chasing 300 plus. So he's got that around his game in all formats. It's just about setting him free.
You look at Sikandar Raza, Pami, and you almost feel like he's really enjoying this challenge of leadership, because we've seen how he's sort of been peaking at the latter end of his career just in terms of his own performance. How do you look at his leadership as a challenge for him? What kind of a captain is he?
I think he's probably one of those guys who leads from the front. From a tactical perspective, I think he kind of leans on particular guys within the side. And then in terms of setting things up, it's with the bat that Zimbabwe need to always ensure that they're putting runs on the board. And if he gets runs, when he gets runs, they generally get decent scores. And essentially, there has to be someone who helps him along the way. This is why when we're looking at the scorecard today, or the team lineup, I was saying that it's important for him to face as many balls as possible, because he is the best player. You don't want a scenario where he faces a few deliveries and is frustrated at the other end. By the same token, you can't just kind of rely on one guy. So a lot of, to use your words, Russ, a lot of dirty work to be done in the middle of the game, and develop a method and commit fully to that method.
Very impressive from my point of view, because you've got to be tactically smart. Options, are not many as other captains would have, and also more often than not with the bat or ball, it's under pressure that he has to stand up. So it's always chin up from him, which is great to see.
And also the thing about it is, as some captains you can be batter or bowler, but you're not everything, right? He takes wickets, he gets runs, and he's got to choose who's going when and what's happening where. So there's a whole lot on him, requires help.
Yeah, there's certain players, Russ, that we talk about who thrive under pressure, and he definitely seems to be one of them, you know. There's certain players that can't take pressure that well, but he's that kind of character.
Yes, definitely, because as I mentioned, he can't leave the ball in the middle there and someone else picks the ball and it performs. Now, certain teams have those options, but this guy has to constantly keep digging, constantly keep coming up with methods to compete, not win, but to compete initially. And what he has to do is all the time. That would be draining, but he keeps standing up.
All right. Hasaranga then, there was news, there was rumours around his injury as well, the fact that he might be struggling with it. Good to see that he's playing today, because remember, when we talk about Sri Lanka and wicket takers in that lineup, he definitely comes right at the top.
Bigger picture here as well. He's so vital. He's missed quite a few games in the recent past, also had a hamstring operation, because so they don't want him to damage that too much. So any slight niggle, they'd leave him out. They even called in cover, but he's out there and he's playing better cricket. That's why he's moved up the batting order as well, which we haven't had in a while. If he keeps batting like he does, allows Sri Lanka to balance that team a lot better and gives more options or makes other spots available to bring in another player, an attacking option.
Yeah, you spoke about, you know, the batters from Zimbabwe standing up to the challenge that they have. This is going to be a real challenge for them, facing the likes of somebody like Hasaranga. But we saw what Bennett can do at the top. Like you said, you know, consistency perhaps. I mean, when you talk about converting those partnerships, how do you look at this batting lineup facing up to that challenge?
Yeah, in the main, they're a young batting lineup. So you speak of Bennett and Marumani at the top, and both were impressive. I think Marumani will feel not unlucky. It is unlucky. You get a full toss, you pick out the one man that's out there, and generally you want to ensure if you get one, you get it out the ground. So you want to convert those starts, and hopefully he can today. And then also in that middle order, Hasaranga, with regard to Taylor and Burl and Raza, I don't think they'd be too fast. His class is Hasaranga, but they've seen him before, whereas the others haven't. So that work has to be done by those seniors, because as seniors you're on notice, you have the experience.
All right, quick thoughts before we leave. Then what is the total that Sri Lanka feels they're comfortable chasing?
170 is par on this pitch, I think, but they'd like to keep them down to about 150, 160, just to feel that the bowling's done their bit.
The goal for Zimbabwe then?
Yeah, I think around there. Aim 160, you play better, you'll get more than that if you play it correctly. So hopefully they play it right in terms of method.
Stay in the game.
All right then, lots to look forward to in this contest between Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe. Remember, they have opted to field first. Now all the other action that you'll have, the live cricket pictures will be on the other side. So keep watching Pitchside and keep watching the cricket.